Hello, welcome back to Soul Said So. I am your lovely host, the Mystic Muba, and this is the space where I'm always focusing on getting you out of your mind and getting you back into what really matters, which is your soul. So, this week we are going to be talking about the power in your decisions. Every time that you have to make a choice, there is so much that comes behind that choice. And it's not just the choice itself. Sometimes when you make a choice, there are going to be so many things conflicting around you to confuse you on if you even made the right choice. But there is so much power in your deciding regardless if something comes to contradict you, deciding regardless if it does not look convenient, if it does not feel like the right time. There'll never be a right time. Just making a decision, standing on a decision, and seeing that decision through, regardless of what it takes for that decision to come to fruition. Okay. So a lot of the current energy from the last few weeks. If you anything like me, I've been feeling it all over my body. I've been feeling it in my emotions. I've been seeing it in my mind. I have been very reflective, just looking at where I'm at, where I've come from, how I've gotten here, just having a full review of the past. Because there is something big that is happening that I am now transforming into, and I'm trying to make sure that we got the principles down. And one of the things that I noticed as I am in my reflective period is I'm being asked to pay very close attention to my decisions. Every choice is a message on how you unknowingly view yourself. Every choice that you make tells me what you think, how you think, and to what magnitude that you're thinking. And as I'm doing my reflection and I'm looking back, I'm noticing just in how life has provided me with so much evidence now that some of the decisions that I've made, even currently, there are some current decisions that I've made that has even triggered all of this. We're looking back like, okay, hold on. We got to find the root of where this even came from. Because in the decision that I'm looking at now, I am having to use previous information to see how I responded, what was my mindset, what was my approach, what did I think was going to happen, what actually happened. And using all of that information to now understand how I actually view myself. Because from one of our previous episodes talking about the perspective, how you view something determines so much about what you deem possible, what is possible, what actions you take. There's so much that comes behind it. And in order for you to be able to make a decision, you have to be able to see the path clearly, to see something. Whether that's a vision, whether that's a mission, whether there's a why, whatever it is, you got to be able to see it, understand it, connect with it so you can make a decision and stand on it, right? So as I'm doing my reflecting and it is telling me to pay very close to my decisions, it made me want to talk about the power in your deciding. Now, whenever you do make a decision about anything, that is considered to be your goal from there. And the goal from that decision is to reach whatever we just decided on. And in any type of decision, it's going to require a certain version of you. And that version of you is going to produce something new, something different, because we're creating it, right? So, as it relates to your decisions, everything that you do on a daily basis is either moving you away from or towards the vision that you hold for yourself. But first, you have to have a vision. You have to decide. Now, there is a huge difference, and this is the first point that I want to talk about. There's a huge difference in wanting and deciding. You can want a new life all day, every day. But if you continue to make choices that do not support the life, the vision, the mission, whatever it is, okay? If you make choices that contradict what you want, you'll just be wanting. To make a decision means that now you have to step back and you have to be very intentional and you have to look and see is something an appropriate match. So I made a choice. It's everything. I got to start looking at everything around me. Starting internally is how I'm speaking, it's how I'm thinking. Are the actions that I am putting in, are they all working together to support my decision or move me away from my decision? And so the focus in that choice that I want y'all to be looking at is, what are you choosing? Ask yourself, what are you choosing? What have you been choosing? And it all depends on what you decided on. For this context, the decision that I want you to come into an agreement with, have an understanding. What do you want for your life? Decide on it. What do you see? I'm not even going to say want, because we just said that there's a big difference between wanting and deciding. So I don't even want to use the language want. What do you see for yourself? Because once you have a vision of what you see for yourself, then now we have some decisions that we have to make. And in those decisions, there's going to be a lot of choices that are going to follow. There are going to be a lot of things that are going to present themselves to you that are going to come in your face. They're going to ask you, can they join the party? And it's either a yes or no based upon how supportive that thing is to what you've already decided. So let's break it down a little bit more. Certain things do not make sense after we agree on a particular decision. So you done told me all week, we done talked about this all week, done connected every day, talking about how we finna go to this fish fry, okay, on whatever day, the weekend. Let's say we going on the weekend, we going to a fish fry. So I can understand why you would be confused if I pull up to a 5-star steakhouse after we've been talking about or have made a decision upon going to a fish fry. And it's a lot that go into a decision. I done prepared my taste buds. I done thought out, we going to a buffet. I ain't gonna do too much. I done got my appropriate clothes so I can eat as much as I want. Like my outfit matching the decision that we made. My taste bud matching the decision that we made. Everything is based upon what was already pre-decided. And in the last moment, even onto the ride, I don't even tell you that we switching it up. I just pull up to somewhere different, completely against what we done decided. You see what I'm saying? Certain things don't make sense after we agree on a certain decision. So the same goes for a lot of things in your life. After you have made a certain decision about what it is that you want for your life, how you see yourself, the visions that you see. I said want again. I'm trying to take it out. What do you see? When you see something specific for yourself, that a lot of things just not going to make sense anymore. And that's okay. One, the willingness to keep a relationship after they've shown you who they are. And I don't care what type of relationship that is. Business, lover, family, it don't matter. Certain things don't make sense after we made a decision. I made a certain decision about my life on what I want and what I see for myself. There are going to be some people whose relationship is not going to be able to carry on into the next phase. It's just not. It ain't no love loss. It ain't no bad blood, but that's just the facts. they're not going to be able to come. And bringing them with you is baggage that you're going to have to carry that's going to either distract you, delay you, and all these other things. And that is going to take away from the decision that we made. Same as not being consistent after deciding that we want results. You decided that you want a certain result. You're tired of living a certain way, but you aren't consistent enough to allow that result to come into your life. Certain things don't make sense after we done already made a decision. Deciding that you want something, whether that's going back to school, whether that's starting a business, whether that's posting more, whether that's, I don't know, whatever it is that you decide on. But then you allow fear to have you overthinking and worrying, questioning yourself about your worthiness and about your capacity. Can I really do this? Is this really made for me? Is it, see what I'm saying? When you make a decision on something, you have got to work to make sure that you stay in alignment with that decision, because every time that you root off and you create a new branch to do something different, you're restarting that energy over and over and over. And I was just thinking earlier when I was driving, like, so many people can spend years trying to perfect something, but they don't believe in themselves the whole time. They only believe in themselves. Let's say you 10 years into doing something, but you only really spent 2 years out of 10 years really believing in yourself. When you don't believe in yourself, it shows, because the decisions and the actions and everything else, it shows. And I'm talking to myself too. It shows when you do not believe. And when you don't believe, you make it that much harder for the power that comes behind a decision to start to support you and to manifest itself through. So when you're deciding on something that you want and you stand in 10, okay, whatever, and you standing 10 toes down behind it, understand that is going to have some fear that's associated with it, but you got to get, hey, bring it back. What's the goal? What's the mission? What's the version of us that we are looking towards? Not all of the obstacles and all of the things that try to come in the midst of it. No, we're not focusing on that. We could do a dance with those certain things, because maybe those are some of the things that we need to be able to build to help us create that version of us that's going to sustain the decision that we've made. But we're not going to switch and change the decision. Something's too hard, okay, that happens. Something ain't working in this season, okay, that happens. The bigger the vision, the bigger the uncertainty. And in uncertainty, your capacity has to grow. So no, we ain't never stretched like this. No, we ain't never had to do this all on our own like this before. It may feel bigger than what it actually is, but this is what it's going to take. This is what capacity stretching and growing into the bigger vision that we've already made a decision on. This is what it feels like. And this is not to condemn you in any manner. What I want to do and what my goal is here today is to highlight certain behaviors that we have that impact our decision making, that keep us being double-minded on what it is that we want for ourselves. If we keep changing our minds and we keep flipping the switch, it'll seem like nothing will ever work, or it will seem like we're forever delayed, when that's not really what's happening. Here's what I want us to do. I want you to ask yourself this question, and this is your journal prompt. This is what I want you to be focusing on. This is what I want you to really hone in on for yourself. How can I start viewing myself from a place of power in my decision making, and not from the condition of the experiences that I have faced up to this point? Because now, in viewing your decisions and looking back over every single thing that you have that have made you who you are today, the decisions that you had control over, where did you hesitate? And even now, flip it to present tense because the patterns don't stop until we name them and we start to adjust accordingly. So, where do we hesitate in any decisions that we have to make for ourselves regarding what we want for ourselves or what we see for ourselves? Where do you overthink? Where do you choose from fear, from unworthiness, from anger, from bitterness, from resentment? Where in your life is it hard for you to stand on a decision because of a past programming? I want you to shift. Once we have named these things and understood what they are, I want you to now shift from that and to start making decisions from places of power. The power that I want you to be focusing on, your daily choices. That's where most of your power is. Daily. Everything that I'm doing today. Stay in tune with you. Stay in tune with what you know to be true for yourself. What you know you've decided on in the direction that you're going. Stay in tune with that. And from there, I want you to make sure that you start to view yourself from a place of power, encouraging yourself when you start to hesitate, when you start to overthink. Let it go, lay it down. When you see yourself choosing fear or choosing making choices from fear and from unworthiness and from anger, catch yourself. Maybe that's not the best time for you to make a decision. Or maybe that's an opportunity for you to connect with yourself to see, why do I choose in this way? What causes me to want to get into this space? But yeah, that is your TED Talk of the week. The power of deciding. And I want you to go into making better decisions for yourself. So focus on those journal prompts, and I'm going to talk to you next week.